Hey folks, we are here at Nokia Theater in downtown Los Angeles. Just finished up the Nintendo press conference. As you can see, Ryan Davis and Brad Shoemaker here. Also joining us is Vinny Caravello. Vinny, how you doing?
Doing all right.
You were filming this whole press conference, so this is where Nintendo revealed its new console.
This is the new controller for Wii U.
They talked about some 3DS software as well. Some big first-party names got mentioned for 3DS. We're talking Mario Kart, Luigi's Mansion 2, Kid Icarus is all the stuff that's coming. It's kind of Star Fox, kind of known quantities except for Luigi's Mansion, which got a surprisingly strong response.
Come on. You don't want to play another Luigi's Mansion.
I do, even though I remember conceptually really liking Luigi's Mansion, but not. Really, gameplay-wise, not really caring for Luigi's Mansion wasn't a great game, but it had a lot of character.
Good. Yeah.
I think people remember that game a lot better than it actually was. Probably. I'm still excited about Luigi's Mansion 2, but the clear focus for Nintendo today was the Wii U, their new system. So, Vinny, tell us all about the Wii U.
So I was actually confused with first I thought it was just a controller. Right. I was like, oh, okay, they're introducing this new controller for the Wii, and then later on they're going to show us all the games that you can play with it on the whatever. And then I guess about 5 minutes after the press conference when I was like, hey, is that just a controller?
No.
Then that's when I realized it was the system.
We're not talking about that yet.
So it's kind of interesting. They were really focusing on the controller, which they only referred to as the new controller. Which I could see would cause some confusion, but there was clearly in all the demo shots a new box sitting next to the TV that looked a lot like the Wii, but
a little more rounded.
Kind of rounded edges, different button placement, clearly inspired by the Wii design, but just a little bit different. They didn't actually show that box during the press conference itself, which makes me believe that box does not exist.
I bet it physically does not exist. I bet the Wii U is a bunch of dev kits and some design mock-ups, and that's about it.
What did you think of the name? Again, name.
PU, man.
Awful.
PU.
Save it. That's 480 PU. I don't know. Whatever.
Like everything, we'll get used to. I think this one might take a little bit longer to get used to.
I find actually more than the name itself, I find their logo treatment for it to be really poor.
Yeah.
Also, it makes me think of Wii University. That's all. When they first come on down to Wii U and get a doctorate in Mario mushrooms.
Okay. Where do I sign up?
In the Mushroom Kingdom.
Now, is that a 5-year program or is that 4 years?
It's actually a 2-week program.
It's certified.
It's kind of like University of Phoenix. But this thing is still a ways off. This is a 12 release for this system, and they were talking about this very broadly. Other than saying Smash Brothers is coming to both 3DS and Wii U, they didn't really make any significant specific game announcements. It was just sort of and even the stuff they're showing at the show floor, they're saying there's going to be 8 Wii U experiences. And they double underlined multiple times. They made the point of saying these are not prototypes of games. These are just ideas.
Right.
These are just kind of concepts of ways that you could use this new controller.
A real diplomatic way to say tech demo.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a crazy controller. I mean, you've got the 2 analog discs, kind of like the single
pad.
Like what you have on the 3DS
pad or whatever they're calling it.
You've got gyroscopic controls in there. You've got a camera. You've got microphone. You've got speakers on it. And the thing looks significant. Another thing, they never actually showed the controller itself in the auditorium.
Right.
Kind of interesting for a press conference where they didn't have any actual on-stage demos. They talked a lot about Zelda at the beginning. They talked about some of the 3DS games that they have coming up. Granted, 3DS stuff kind of hard to do live demos of.
Maybe they learned their lesson after the Skyward Sword fiasco last year.
Yeah, maybe.
They did have a live orchestra.
Nice
that
touch.
was stirring.
That gets you every time.
Really plucked the heartstrings, man. Got a little misty-eyed.
So I think to kind of address the other big thing about this new system from Nintendo is, there's a lot of expectations about the technical capabilities, kind of the graphical horsepower that this thing was going to have, and how it was going to be, kind of at least comparable to, PS3 360, at least comparable to current systems, so that ports would be possible. And they talked about a lot of games that were upcoming, kind of end of the year games that would be coming to the Wii U next year. And they showed a few kind of quick clips of a couple of games, Darksiders 2.
Yeah. There's a new Tekken game.
Dirt game. Yeah, Dirt. But that was simply Dirt. That's a lot of kind of working title sounding games. And They looked better than Wii games, but I still like Vinny. You were saying like these don't quite look like these kind of look like first run 360 games.
Yes.
Yeah, it looked like when we were transitioning from Xbox to 360 and you had that weird crossover and it was like kind of early. But you think the stuff they showed was actual footage from something
That's
running?
a really good question. I would actually be kind of surprised if that was off of this hardware. I mean,
yeah, it seems really early,
Yeah.
and I don't know. I mean, it was new footage I hadn't seen before of like Darksiders 2.
well, they haven't shown that.
So
Like, that
I have
game
no
is
idea.
new.
I'll be really curious. The bird demo was a demo. That's
Yeah.
like one of those like NVIDIA cards.
It looked really nice, but
might as
that's
well
not
show
what
me
the game.
like a girl in like tight spandex
Yeah.
with weird hair
Yeah.
shooting a
I mean,
laser gun.
it's not crunching any AI or physics or any of that stuff.
I'll show you that.
Okay.
They did show like there was a quick clip of something that looked like what could be a new Zelda game that was higher fidelity, and I think that was never mind the name, never mind not really talking about kind of technical stuff, which makes sense. This is a big broad overview. They're not talking about friend codes. They're not talking about price points. They're not talking any sort of specifics like that. But I really would have liked to have seen more Nintendo properties, more recognizable characters kind of rendered on this new system. I want to know, what does Mario look like with more power behind it.
Nintendo, more than anybody, can get a lot of mileage out of a little horsepower.
Yeah.
I mean, the Wii Mario games look amazing
Yeah.
for what they are. So to see them get this kind of power under the hood and what they can do with it, it's really exciting.
Trauma Center. Why wasn't Trauma Center on? Just like X-raying people and like performing surgery through that thing.
There was some interesting stuff with interaction between the big screen and the small screen. Where moving around the small screen was kind of showing you things that were not apparent on the big screen. Like they could do some crazy stuff with this system.
No back-facing camera on that thing, right?
No, just a front-facing
so
camera.
Probably not a whole lot of AR stuff then.
But I mean, remember,
It seems like
there's still that sensor bar on the top, so
Yeah.
it's still like positionally able to
Okay.
find stuff. But
It seems like it's more about like looking at stuff on the screen in a different way as opposed to like walking around.
Yeah,
your
they
house
said,
with
was it the shield push or something, shieldy game?
Sure.
Yeah.
Where it's got the accelerometer in it, so it
Yeah.
tracks where you're moving. So like, I could see you.
Yeah.
I can't see you, but I would,
Well, I think that was meant more towards the screen, and they talked about being able to play games on the controller without the TV being on. They also made clear that this is not a portable system; that this needs to get its horsepower from the Wii U itself, from the box.
Yeah, you had like Ken Levine was talking about playing a game in bed with this thing,
Yeah.
but if that has to go through like your bedroom wall to the living room, like you have to wonder what the signal range is going to be like on this thing. And
We'll see.
Yeah.
Again, this is kind of
many
very early
questions yet to
stuff.
be answered.
Yeah, a lot of questions still left, but they have announced the name of it. It's the Wii U. It's an awful name. There's some interesting technology at work here. It seems like they got more third-party voices in the mix this year than they've necessarily had in the past. John Riccitiello came out on stage and kind of said, his part. So that's the Nintendo press conference. Nintendo E3 2011 Day 1 starts in just like an hour and a half, less than that at this point. The clock is ticking, so we're going to go hit the show floor, take some appointments, see some games. I'm going to take this mic. We'll see Vinny later, and we'll see you guys later, too. Hey, so something that we kind of didn't have time to talk about yesterday during all of the craziness was the Ubisoft press conference.
that happened.
That did-
definitely happened.
That happened. That was kind of right in the middle of a very action-packed day, and it was an interesting press conference to say the least.
Yes.
Extremely French. I guess let's break down some of the stuff that we actually saw there.
I think it was a press conference of highs and lows.
Absolutely. I really felt like they showed some pretty interesting, some promising software.
Yeah, for sure.
But the packaging of it, specifically with the host, Mr. Caffeine, was left something to be desired. He was a little overbearing, let's say.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm not afraid of a few dick jokes. Thank you.
Also, kind of the premise that they started each presentation with, like, oh, what would these games have looked like 25 years ago?
I wonder what this game would have looked like had we released it long ago. Let's go back in time. I wonder how this might have looked 20 years ago. I wish this could have all started when we all had a Commodore 64. Everyone do it with me. I said everyone go.
And then they had these crazy pre-rendered, like, obviously things that you could not have done 25 years ago. And then they actually showed the real games, and you thought, like, this game looks all right, but I kind of want to play that fake game that you guys are talking about.
Kind of look better, yeah.
But let's start at the top. Rayman Origin. Michel Ancel was on stage to show that game.
I've never seen Michel Ancel in person before. I
Yeah.
didn't even know what he looked like or what his demeanor was. That man is a delight.
Yeah, fun. Definitely kind of,
his mock Shakespearean performance at the beginning.
You be or not you be?
You be for sure.
Thank you.
Which also, so where we were sitting, we
good.
could actually see all of the teleprompter stuff. None of that was on
Really?
the script. He just
that's great.
started doing all of that
Oh,
stuff
that's great.
himself. But that game looks really, really great.
Yeah.
Like 2D Rayman game, really great hand-drawn art style to it. Very dynamic. Like it looked like fun. Some great music in it.
Well, it's that sort of like combative co-op thing where it's like you're competing for stuff, but you have to cooperate to get all these different puzzles done. And the music was the really standout thing. Like those games have always had pretty great music, but like the stuff in there, like a little Tetris scene where like the music hypes in, you're like, oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely. So that was kind of the kickoff. A strong start. They showed Driver San Francisco, which
Looks all right.
I'm not entirely sure one way or the other.
What if there were roads in San Francisco?
There you go.
None of the weird like transferring into other drivers though. I didn't see.
Yeah, they kind of played it straight. Like it was an odd presentation for that one for sure. Let's see here. We saw some
Tom Clancy's
Ghost Recon Future Soldier, which we've been seeing a lot of and seeing in multiple forms.
It feels a little tired. It felt especially tired because we had just gone through Modern Warfare, we just gone through Battlefield 3 at the other press conferences. It was just like, here's Future Soldier, and it's another one of these.
Yeah, kind of modern-ish military first-person shooter, or I guess in this case, third-person.
Future, but it's like, you're still using the same basic weaponry, and it's all very brown, just like all those other shooters.
The concept trailer for that game I found a little distasteful. The camera angle that it ends with, where like you shoot the guy through the head and then the camera flies through the bullet hole.
Right.
It's like
With
that,
while the operatic music plays.
like, that's the level to which you guys are like. This is how you're topping the competition. You're gonna fly into the bullet hole.
And then after that, little Ghost Recon Online. The best part of which is it's free.
And the best part of all, it's absolutely free.
No, the best part is that you can post your pictures on Facebook.
No, that was a different game. That was
No, the best part is that you can post your pictures on Facebook.
Far Cry 3.
Far Cry 3, which they
Nice
kind of
reveal.
just showed it. They said, "Here's a game,"
Yeah.
and then they didn't actually reveal the name of that until the end. Pretty good demo, like a pretty sharp-looking game.
Yeah, some good acting from the characters.
Yeah, like that was to me like beyond the action, which went through a lot of different sequences. Like they showed a good variety of the kind of first-person action that you'll see in that game. But really, that performance from this antagonistic character that you're introduced to at the beginning was the most compelling part to me.
And that's exciting because the dramatic elements of Far Cry 2 were definitely the weak part of that game. Like it had a great big open world with a lot of dynamic combat possibilities, but the characters, the story, the way everything played out in the narrative was not executed very well.
And really good-looking violence too, like very bloody, very visceral. Like the knife stabbing bit was really, really good.
So if they can marry all that combat to like a stronger story and more memorable characters, that game could be pretty
that
special.
could be rad, yeah.
And then let's wrapping up with Assassin's Creed, a full-on proper on-stage gameplay demo of that.
Yeah.
I know some folks not feeling
I think
it.
it's starting to show its age a little bit.
Maybe. I guess I like the look of old Ezio. I think grizzled old Ezio. There's some disconnect with the voice.
Yeah.
But grizzled old Ezio, I like the look. What they showed looked like Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
But I kind of felt the same way last year when they first showed Brotherhood, and that ended up being amazing. So I'm still willing to give them benefit of the doubt based on what they've shown so far. So. I think some pretty promising software
good games
coming out of Ubisoft.
Yeah.
Unfortunate, just some miscalculations with how they decided to present them, but all that really matters is the games. Like forget the press conference itself. What matters is the games, and it seems like Ubisoft has some promising stuff. So.
Do you want to take odds on whether Mr. Caffeine will return next year or not, or if he will find himself in a shallow grave?
If I had my way about it, we would not see Mr. Caffeine ever again.
Epic fail right here. Yikes. Yeah.
All right, so we got to go hit the show floor. So let's get to it, guys. We'll see you later. 7 over in the can.
Yeah.
We went to the Nintendo press conference this morning and then hit the floor ground running.
Hard. Yeah.
Very
hard.
hard.
Absolutely. Brad, you and I went, and first thing we saw was a little Soulcaliber 5.
Yeah.
Pretty early demo of that.
You and I saw that.
I'm sorry, you and I saw that. That's right. You were.
I was like,
Yeah,
huh.
no, you joined us along the way.
It's all a blur.
Are we just like interchangeable now at this point? Is that what that is?
It's the shirts.
Oh, okay.
Look at this.
Right.
Come on.
Long sleeve.
So you and I went and saw Soulcaliber 5.
Yes, we did.
Very, very, very early.
What
They
is
said,
that?
They said 50. It's a fighting game.
Okay.
Yes.
With swords.
Well, it's the early stages of a fighting game.
Let me
This is
ask
the
you
early
this.
stages of history.
Let me ask you this: does the soul still burn?
You know what? They would neither confirm or deny the stage of the soul burning.
The soul is about 15% burning at this point.
Yeah,
so.
that game's 50% done. There's a lot of Soulcaliber 4 assets still in that game. They wanted to stress a lot that, this is not what that game is going to look like. They've got like 30 characters, about 50% old, 50% new, because of the time difference, 17 years after the last game. A lot of the characters from the last game are now a lot older, but now they've introduced a bunch of new characters who are like the offspring of the previous characters.
It's like teen Soulcaliber.
Right.
Okay.
It looked like Soulcaliber. Not a lot
It's
to
a
say
little
about
faster,
that.
but yeah, I mean that's the one thing is they're focused on is like making a slightly faster, more fluidic kind of game. So
That sounds like a good move. I don't know. That's as someone who has not loved the Soulcaliber games as of late, but yeah, faster and more fluid sounds like a pretty good thing.
that's what they're aiming for. So
What did you see today, Jeff?
Oh, let's see. I went off and I checked out Modern Warfare 3.
Yes.
The latest Call of Duty
Did you get
game.
hands-on in
I
that?
did play that,
Excellent.
and I played some multiplayer, the Spec Ops mode.
Right.
Now this is not they will have the regular Spec Ops mode in it, but they were showing survival mode, which is a wave-based survival mode that you play on the multiplayer maps.
Did you survive?
I survived for about 14 waves.
Pretty good.
Yeah, felt pretty good about it, and it's the sort of thing where you're kind of earning money. It almost had some stuff in common with the zombie mode, but it's not about holding it down in one area or repairing anything or whatever. It's like that more means that as you kill, you earn money that you can then spend at kiosks to buy or upgrade weapons. Buy kind of kill streak stuff like sentry guns, or actually like you can drop in your own friendly AI like Delta Squad, drop out of a helicopter, or guys with riot shields, and they'll hang out and assist you. Now the enemies you face in this also increase in difficulty, both in like they'll soak up more bullets, but also in type. So you end up with just kind of regular dudes, regular Call of Duty dudes.
Right. Call of Dudes.
Yeah. And then eventually they start to get more resilient. You find guys that have C4 strapped to them. Then you find dogs. Then you find dogs that have C4 strapped to them.
No.
Exploding dogs.
Dude, that's the worst.
Exploding
That's the worst.
dogs.
Brad and I saw some dogs in the Tomb Raider demo.
ooh.
We went and saw
Okay, yeah.
the theater demo of that, which
So that was the second part where she gets to go into the wolf's cave to
Right.
get the radio and stuff.
So they showed the first half of the same demo that you saw during the Microsoft press conference, that whole section, and then a later section in the game, kind of further along in the game, where she has to go into this fortress, this village area that's been taken over by wolves.
Yeah.
And she has to retrieve a thing, and that I thought really complimented the first half. Like I wasn't really sure how to feel about what they showed of Tomb Raider initially.
Yeah.
But this is like, okay, this feels more like Tomb Raider. This has the traversal stuff. This has more of the kind of puzzle solving stuff that you expect from Tomb Raider, along with some more kind of quick timey event type stuff. But really kind of the emotional weight, the Lara in danger
She
kind
did
of
not
vibe.
like having to kill that wolf.
No.
But she did.
Yeah, no, like the guy who was running the demo said, she's not killing animals for sport, but when she has to, she is going to stab that wolf to death.
Yeah.
It was cool. I thought it looked really good.
It definitely gave a better sense of the more open kind of exploration.
And they're
traversal
saying
stuff.
that the game will be around 50-50 or maybe even 60-40 one way or the other between those two things, the kind of more cinematic cutscene-y stuff and that sort of open.
But that's also still
Base
very
camp stuff.
very early in development. They had said they just finished this vertical slice, but they still have a lot of work to do. That's coming out in 2012. So
like late 2012.
Right.
Yeah.
So still a long way to go on that. Actually, just before we went and saw that, I hopped over to the Tecmo Koei booth and played the Ninja Gaiden 3 demo that they have there.
Yeah.
Where you're running around in London, slashing up paramilitary dudes and fighting crazy spider tank robots. That game is fast.
Cool.
That's a good thing.
And it doesn't have that same kind of initial that right out the gate level of punishment that Ninja Gaiden games have had in the past. Granted, this is an E3 demo, so that's not necessarily representative
Right.
of how that game's gonna feel. But just just the speed and the camera angles are just snapping around super fast as you're kind of jumping from dude to dude to slaughter these guys with just blood spray everywhere. I thought it looked all right. It was kinetic, kind of mashy, so and not necessarily that same kind of that fighting game feel that past Ninja Gaiden games have had.
I think some of the Ninja Gaiden games have felt that way early on.
Sure.
So it's
and they were very much introducing like these are the fodder enemies, and then you start getting the guys who have like riot shields that you have to figure out how to work around their defenses, and they start really fighting back more guys with RPGs.
Jump over them?
What's that?
Is it jump over them and stick them? Because that's what I would do.
Yeah, that's pretty much
stick
it.
some dudes.
You figured it out. You cracked the code on Ryu Hayabusa's latest adventure. But that's the first Team Ninja game post kind of the split there.
The Itagaki era.
Well, there's Dead or Alive for 3DS. And, and Metroid.
First Ninja Gaiden.
First Ninja Gaiden game since that split.
First
happened.
big action game.
Right.
And I felt like there was a difference, but it still felt like a Ninja Gaiden game. So that was pretty
That's
cool.
all that matters.
So I got to see Modern Warfare 3 and Battlefield 3 today.
Well, we all got to see Battlefield 3.
Yeah, we all went and played some Battlefield 3. We played the multiplayer, which is good because that's I think the thing that they really need to be showing for both these big shooters, really.
Yeah.
And man, so like they talked a little bit prior, like you saw the tank column stuff, the single player stuff. And that was very slow, very methodical. You played this. This was Battlefield.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
You
it
were
was
running around
was
shooting
very
dudes.
much. I mean, you are
felt like PC Battlefield.
well, yeah,
As
but
opposed to Bad Company.
well,
Yeah.
if you're arming MCOMs,
Yeah.
you are doing the stuff you do in Bad Company.
Sure.
Like it's Rush.
Yeah.
You know, it's
That
that
mode
exact
is from
game
Bad
mode.
Company
It's-
too.
Yeah.
Sure.
It's I mean, you're still spotting guys like that sort of stuff. All was in the PC version of Bad Company.
Yeah.
So like it was interesting. Like it didn't seem like that much of a departure from what they've done in the past.
Yeah.
But
it just felt good.
But it feels
really
it feels
good.
great. I really like what they're doing with the classes. They've taken before they've kind of had generic support classes, which they kind of lump the medic in with an LMG or something like that. Here they're merging medic with assault. So you get your kind of assault rifle, and you can drop the med kits and that sort of stuff. And it sounded like that they have done research on that.
Telemetry is what they use.
Yeah, like the people that pick assault, like me, just fucking run for it and die all the time.
Well, yeah,
so if they're the medics, then maybe they can.
The net effect is you don't have to wait for medics to run from the rear because they are all on the front line with you already.
Yeah.
And there's still a support class, which I played as, and you're sitting back there with the big ass gun that you can mount
With
and
a
you are just-
bipod in this case.
Right.
And you are just straight up raining down fire, letting people move up and do their thing.
Suppression, built into the mechanics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get suppression bonuses and stuff like that. So
It was cool. The thing that surprised me the most about the Battlefield 3 stuff was the sense that some of the movement stuff that DICE had kind of figured out in Mirror's Edge seemed like it was kind of coming to fruition here with when you're jumping over cover and kind of moving
you're
through the
seeing
environment.
legs.
You're seeing legs slide out in front of you, and
you have a character model.
It has that kind of that dynamic feel that Mirror's Edge had,
Felt
but
really
also
natural.
you're freaking shooting dudes.
And just this one map, pushing our way across this map, it went big outdoor zone, then kind of tight
Subway
corridor, subway
tunnels,
tunnel
train
stuff, dark, and then
straight up urban.
back out and wide again and stuff, and handled it all really well.
Yeah.
I think that engine looks great.
God, it looks so good. It played really nicely. That was just damn impressive. I'm not a big Battlefield guy, but I will play that game. Anything else, Alex, that you saw today?
I saw a bunch of random stuff. I was mostly wandering the floor, checking out different things. I spent some time in the Microsoft booth checking out different Kinect games.
Anything to talk about there?
Yeah, I mean, I saw Dance Central 2, which you've checked out it pretty extensively. And it's check it out. It's more Dance Central, and there's multiplayer.
Right.
It's
Jump in, jump out.
jump in, jump out dancing, and that looks really good, especially if you like dancing.
Sure.
I played Kinect Sports Season 2.
Right.
They only had 2 of the mini games up, golf and football.
Okay.
And
The stuff they showed at the press conference.
yeah, and they're exactly as simplified versions of those sports as you would expect. There are 9 holes of golf.
Right.
You can have 2 players.
Yeah.
And with football, you can be the quarterback or you can be the receiver.
Did you do the 2-player stuff in the football?
I did, yeah.
How did that stuff work?
So when you're the quarterback, you actually literally have to huddle down, yell "hut" or hike at the Kinect, stand up, and then when you step side to side, that's how you pick which receiver to throw at.
Did you try yelling as crazy a way as the guy did during the press conference? You go,
No, but the guy who from the developer that was there did that, and it made me feel a little bad. But then I did the receiver thing, and literally you were just doing this.
Yeah.
You were just running and
high knee in it.
And and catch it and jump and like dodge.
Huh.
It's a workout.
Yeah.
It's Kinect Sports.
Okay.
So there's that.
Yeah.
I played the Gunstringer, which
Oh,
I
yeah.
had never actually tried before.
What'd you think of that?
It's neat. It's very simple. At least like the early level that I played was pretty simplistic, but it's it's got a cool atmosphere to it. I like it. And
You fought the wavy.
yeah, we
Right.
fought the wavy dude.
Okay, yeah.
And the way the rail stuff works, and you're like controlling the guy with one hand and shooting with the other, actually feels pretty good. So
It's pretty intuitive when I played it, and that was a
Yeah.
while ago, and it looks like it's coming a long way.
And they announced today that that's going to go retail. That's no longer
Yeah.
an SPLA game.
Right.
And
Crazy.
they haven't announced
yeah.
a price yet, but it sounds like they're actually adding more stuff to the game to kind of flesh it out a little more. So
Got
Like,
that
Microsoft wants to see more purple boxes
They
on
got all that
shelves.
FMV.
Yep.
Yeah.
outside of that, it's like I played WWE 12.
Tell me about that. Is it a full reboot or not?
What they're showing doesn't completely say one way or the other.
Yeah.
It's for wrestlers and you wrestle.
Right.
You know,
The
there's-
only thing they've really said about it is that it's not going to be any situations where like you're in an animation and I can't hit you.
Yeah.
You'll be able to hit out of any of them, which seems like the sort of thing that breaks wrestling games.
So I asked about that,
Yeah.
and the thing they said was there are hit points in every animation. You can't just break every single animation at any point, but there's a timing thing where you have to hit it because otherwise you would just in this constant. back and forth
Otherwise,
and
no one hits
breaking.
a finisher ever because
Yeah.
it's
But the
not
trick
realistic.
is,
and-
there's no longer cutaways. So like when you're doing like the dump 5 knuckle shuffle thing.
right.
you're-
It's still gameplay.
It's still gameplay.
Okay.
You're not like suddenly in the middle of the ring, like if you're already in the corner or whatever. So it is all like kind of real time.
Weird.
It feels not quite like last year's SmackDown, but it still feels like a youth's wrestling game. So take that as you will.
Take that as.
Yeah.
Brad, anything else?
Yeah, let's see. I stopped by Microsoft and played Rock of Ages from Ace Team, the Xenoclash guys.
Yeah. Is that super weird?
That game is about as ludicrous as you would expect.
I've seen a lot of the trailers for that.
My opponent in that game was Vlad the Impaler.
Yep.
Cool.
Um,
So it's like Civ.
So
With rocks?
basically, yeah. It, a little bit in common with Odama, the Ute Saito
Oh
game.
God.
Oh.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Oh, dear.
I'll put a write up of that on site. It's
Saito's
ridiculous.
Odama.
Yeah. Ute Saito.
But probably the weirdest thing I saw was the new Pixel Junk game Lifelike. It's basically like a visualizer / like looping, kind of like multi-tracking sort of thing with
Like MTV music
with,
generator
with a
or
vocoder on the headset.
All right.
And basically, it's just a bunch of like weird amoeba-like visualizer patterns, and you can hold different buttons on the move. It's a move game.
Okay.
And you basically hold different buttons to access different sample sets, and then moving the move around in 3D space like messes with DSP effects on the different samples.
It's like more of a music toy.
Yeah, it's totally a
Yeah.
music toy, and you can loop the stuff that you're doing, so you can kind of build and layer songs. And
Huh.
and
Are you
people-
working primarily with their loops, or is it sample based? Like you're laying out your own drum tracks?
I got the impression that you're creating your own
Okay.
beat and everything.
What you're saying, like the vocoder stuff, is that then getting looped back in, or is that just
they
how you're
didn't-
doing that over
They
the
didn't
track?
loop any of the vocal stuff, but
Okay.
I
It's
would
just a Reggie Watts machine.
I would hope that you could loop that stuff.
All I want to know is there wobble bass in it, because that is one of the hot things at E3
Well, that's
this
that's
year.
what the headset's for. So you can go wow.
So the demo was run by, if you know Bion, he's a pretty well-known Kyoto DJ
Okay.
from Japan. He's working with them really closely on this thing. It's kind of his brainchild, actually. So he's sort of controlling every aspect of it. And he basically stood up there for like 30 minutes, just like going
And
off.
what were you
with
saying?
this
You're saying
thing.
something about tuning in, like some
So
kind of online
yeah,
functionality.
so on PSN you'll be able to like tune into somebody's channel or whatever they call it, and live while they're playing it, and it
That's
will
cool.
and it will send you
That's
what they're doing.
So it's
and
like
you
a
can,
cross between like Shoutcast and
yeah,
spectator
yeah,
mode in a
they're-
fighting game.
They are straight up shoutcasting their performance of
Great.
this crazy
Wow.
stuff.
I want to
It's
do
crazy.
That sounds weird.
that, guys. I played Rhythm Heaven for the Wii. It's fantastic.
Great. Yeah.
They only have 3 games. It's a really quick demo, and all you're really doing for the most part is hitting A.
Yeah.
Except in one of the games where you're a samurai, and sometimes you have to hit A and B at the same time.
Okay.
Well, you do so with rhythm. It's Rhythm Heaven, and
Yeah.
it's on the Wii. Like it's a very like
Just like
stylized.
the art style, the crazy
Yes,
stuff that
absolutely,
carries.
Yes.
Awesome.
It's, some of the same sound effects, and
You know if that's the same development team?
yeah,
Great.
for sure.
That is-
I'm on board.
It looks great.
Radical.
Yeah, it's like Wii game of the show, let's say. And I haven't played Zelda, but I'm
You're gonna say
I'm
Wii
gonna
Game of the
say
Show.
Rhythm Heaven, Wii Game of the Show.
Yeah.
We played Super Mario.
We played
which
Super Mario.
I think
also
is the
played,
name.
I also played
yeah.
Mario Kart, the 3DS games they had after the press conference. Super Mario felt kind of slow. It's it's a 3D Mario
It looked
game.
a little slow.
Methodical.
Not like Mario 64 though. This fixed camera angles as
Right.
you move through the
Yeah.
level. It kind of follows you.
And kind of small, like vertically oriented, but kind of small feeling levels.
Yeah.
Got the Tanuki suit. I was a little bummed I couldn't turn into a statue. I tried all the buttons and I couldn't figure out how to make it happen.
Well, they gotta add that.
If you
can't
can
do
make
that,
it happen.
Here, let me
Yeah.
text Patrick and see if he can ask Miyamoto right now how he does that.
So yeah, saw Mario Kart. Saw kind of the stuff, the glider and the underwater stuff they showed during the press conference. Feels like Mario Kart. I think it's kind of what people are going to expect. Blue sparks and red shells and all that stuff. The stuff
So
with
the gliding is just like you're hitting speed boosts off of jumps and then
Yep.
you're gliding for a
and
while.
It's automatically deploying. It
Yeah,
seems like I
yeah.
didn't really I couldn't really find it, but it seems like there's potential for kind of alternate path stuff when you're in the air or underwater.
Does it give you like a speed boost doing that? I mean, like, or is
No,
what does it do for you?
I think it's just kind of like if you don't do that, you're going to just be on the ground. You can, like, if you dive, you're going to go a lot faster.
Can you avoid weapons that way?
Yeah, there's also like coins in the air. There's
Ain't
like
no sky bananas.
there's like
Yeah.
there's coin rings that you can pick up in the air
What if there
and
were?
and things like
I
that.
bet sky bananas are delicious.
Anyway, Mario Kart looks like Mario Kart,
Yeah.
and I think that's pretty much the day for day one.
Pretty much.
We got a
write
bunch
some stuff up.
Yeah, we got a bunch more stuff to do.
Yeah,
Obviously,
and,
2 more days of
we'll
show.
talk about Wii U stuff tomorrow.
Yeah.
yeah,
Um,
once we've all kind of seen it.
once the rest of you guys have played it.
Yeah.
Short version. It's pretty
Short version,
cool.
thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
Excellent.
It's
I'm
cool.
excited to
It's
check
really
it
cool.
out.
It's
So
really
E3 2011 day one for Giant Bomb in the can. Day 2 tomorrow. We'll see you then.